Okay, let's now work on writing some of our own second species counterpoint pieces. Um, Now, just like we did with first species counterpoint, let's focus on the opening and closing things first because they have kind of their own rules that we pay attention to. So, the opening, the first bar. Now, we still have the rule of we need to open on a unison or an octave, or we can open on a perfect fifth as long as the cantus firmus is in the bass. So we could open on a fifth in this case, but let's keep it simple. Let's open on a unison or an octave. Now we have the rhythm to worry about here. We could open right on the downbeat. So that would be an octave, right? And that would be okay so far. I need to do a different note here. But remember, we can also open on the second half of the beat like that. And here's what's interesting. Depending on what textbook you read, this is actually often called the preferred way to open a second species counterpoint. And the reason is that it helps clarify the independence of the two lines. You hear this one start, and then you hear this one start. And it's easier for the listener to hear that there's separate lines this way. So this is often kind of the preferred way for it to start, interestingly enough. It seems like, kind of a cheat to do it that way, but it's not. It's actually kind of good. So now let's jump to the end. Okay, so in the end, we want our last bar, again, to be a unison or an octave. And the rhythm of the very last bar is always going to be a whole note. So let's go back here. So we've got an octave, actually 2 octaves, but remember we just call it an octave in this case. And we don't need another half note here. In fact, we do not want another half note there. This is the resolution. That is the end. This is the downbeat of the last bar. There is no more. Now, the bar before this, the bar leading into the end, has some special rules as well. This bar can be just a whole note if we want. Now, no other bars can be that. All bars need to be 2 half notes, right? The second to the last bar, the penultimate measure, as we call it, can be a whole note in some cases. For example, in this case, because we have a B down here, I could see it working to do a B up here. So we have a D down here, a B up here. This D to B is a sixth. We like sixth. We also like that this interval opens out in contrary motion to the octave, right? So this is a leading tone up into our octave. This is the 2 and goes down to the octave. That's a really nice sound. So if we can make this make sense to land on this B right here, we don't need another note right there and the second half of the measure. That's just one kind of goofy exception.